on, or
Yeah, but it's not hold on, let me leave this one.
oh, there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I'm still like looping back somehow.
I'm still like looping back somehow.
Yeah, it's not on my side. Oh, actually, I'll put in my headphones. Oops.
Oh, I'm coming through the actual speakers and going back into the headphones. I'll go back into the mic, your mic.
Exactly.
So yeah, just want you to know that going forward, I think Marta and I are going to discuss how we want to actually do this presentation. And I want it to be more of a discussion, info session, you know what I mean? So I'm going to try to actually send out all this information during the 2 weeks beforehand, you know what I mean, to different people.
Gotcha.
invite them in, and we can have more of a discussion, because I want this also not just to be about what we want to do to your company, but also what's your pain in this customer service, what's your pain, and you know, and then we could all be participating in that. That's the way I want to do it. Right? Is that correct, right, Marlon? Or sorry, I can't hear you, Marlon.
Yeah, I would say that's
Okay.
the perfect way to address it, because, you know, a restaurant has a different kind of way to keep a customer than, say, a product. You know what I mean?
I hear addressing spot. Yeah, exactly.
You know, and stuff like that. And not to say that that's the gamut of what we might approach, but it is going to affect the procedures, right? Like if you're a software company, you want to be clear about your scope of work, right? Because, you know, folks could have a completely different idea of what that is, right? Yes. So you want to set those tones, and that's part of the procedures, and that's part of customer service that you don't think about part of customer service.
Yeah, so I want to get the feel for the different businesses that are going to be, that's a part of ACBN or part of the ecosystem, and what they feel about customer service. And I can make notes too, right? And going forward to better give them a better certification presentation, plus also give them have a better idea of where their pain points are. Can I ask Sophia? Can I ask you a question? Is she there?
Yes, I'm there. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'm working while I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry. Oh, no. Is this the first time you're in this, or were you here before? Sorry.
No, this is my first time.
Oh, okay. So I might need to go through this for Sophia, or I can let you know where to go on to get more information. We wanted to briefly talk about why we're, you know, who we are, why we're doing the customer service certification, and but then also give you links to go into and check and follow up, but also just talk about what kind of business you have, and what kind of customer service are you familiar with or not familiar with, or want more of, you know what I mean, or training or whatever it is that might be your pain points.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, excellent. So yeah, we can get started now. I'll send out, able to share your screen? Okay, sweet. Yes. Much appreciated, brother. So as always, thank you for your presence. We are gonna be live streaming to YouTube as well. So I'll be on the YouTube checking the chat, but here direct learning about why customer service is so important, and the customer service certification course that was created by TFIT. So we're happy to be partners with it, and we're going to be here every other Wednesday answering questions about improving customer service. So pleasure to have you, brother Tim.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. This is the TFIT certification course info session. Plus, also, we want to make sure that we're doing more of a discussion. And as we go further into this throughout this year, we want to make sure we have a two-way discussion for everyone's business, so we could talk about what's the pain point that they might be having in their business, and how can we actually better support them with the certification, because one way doesn't fit every business. So we understand more of how a hairstyle in business compared to a science, like someone who's doing education services for kids, or dealing with parents, or someone at a restaurant, how we can deal with their pain points, whether it's talking on the telephone, following up, or just in person. So I want to talk a little bit about TFIT. TFIT is a certification course called from Timothy Frey Inc. Training. That's a brand. And we actually are located here in Toronto, Ontario, but we do work all across Canada. Who I am, I'm one of the leading hospitality training programs. Once again, companies for restaurants and bar venues, founding partner of TFIT with more than 35 years of experience in the field. I'm also the lead facilitator, and which I enable knowledge and skill disseminating, which helps the staff in learning, your staff in learning, growing, and succeeding long term. So by harnessing my real life experience in the hospitality industry, myself and my team, we imparted hands-on training to thousands of professionals, but we're also going to be doing more because of COVID, online training, so therefore we can reach more people across Canada. So since the mid-90s, I worked in various executive management positions and have been involved in launching and training, staff training of hundreds of corporate hospitality locations and thousands of staff across Canada. So once again, like I said, since COVID-19, which hit the industry in 2020, I continue to remain active in delivering virtual training sessions on the various facets of the hospitality industry, and focusing mainly on customer service and franchise readiness. So what is our course, which is the TFIT Customer Service or Hospitality Pro Customer Service Certification? About this certification course, this course has been curated around the most fundamental aspects of customer service in our industry. Also, the course structures comprise of the specific models chosen and designed to serve the professional needs of any staff in our most optimal manner. Also, the underlying theme of our course is focused on understanding the human behavior and expectations better to deliver a delightful customer service experience for the customer. And the course will ensure that participants receive 360-degree knowledge and skill sets to provide better customer service across all modes of interaction, for instance, face-to-face, online, and like I mentioned, telephonically. So key takeaways for all participants who participate in the certification: on successful completion of day 3, participants will be able to deploy their skills across various dimensions of customer service, including how to service customers, which is sounds simple, but not always. Optimizing the guest experience, implementing loyalty programs, reflective listening, call review, sensitivity training, social media management, and communication in crisis situations. Not always a great topic, but it has to be talked about. Courses has 3-day course. Day 1, we have 4 modules we go through: customer service policies, customer service basic, deciphering the customers, customer service skills, and then we let you go home with some activities and exercises. Day 2, we have another 4 modules that we go through, which is 10 behavior attributes you can control, telephonic customer service, problem solving, how to handle temperament of customers, which is always fun to talk about. And once again, we send you home with activities and exercises and case studies. And day 3, we have our case studies, which is FISH, the FISH philosophy, which contains, we put everything together that we've learned, all the modules, and watch a case study of how they play, choose their attitude, make someone's day, and they're there for the customers by using all those tools that we talked about. And then we do questions and answers. So what to expect after successful completion of the course? Your staff will leave with a new mindset and refurbished skill set. At the macro level as well as micro level, this course will ensure that participants go back to their workplace with a completely new approach towards customer services. Their actions, conversations, mindset, and skill sets would reflect empathy, clarity of thought, better listening capabilities, fluid communication, and improvised crisis management skills. The question, what's the cost? This is why we're here. Most SMEs, which is over 500 staff, and large corporations have their own built-in training budgets. Unfortunately, the majority of our community businesses are not able to compete with those larger corporations or other SMEs. So if you are one of those businesses and those owners that can and are competing with the training program in place, then you guys are awesome. But for those other owners, there is financial help. So TCJG, that's a Canadian job grant. It's in Ontario. In Ontario, it's called the COJG, Canadian Ontario Job Grant. It's available for us. How does it work? The Canada Job Grant is a program that combines federal and provincial funding to subsidize 80 to 100% of training for private and nonprofit organizations. Approved funding is granted on a first-come, first-served basis, and each year's funding coincides with the government's fiscal year of April 1st to March 31st. So how do you apply for this job grant? Well, each province and territory has its own process, but through TFIT Hospitality Pro and ACBN partnered, we can help you with this application. Who is eligible? The Canada Job Grant invites applications from employers in private and nonprofit organizations. The program aids employers in training new hires and upgrading their skills, the skills of their existing employees. How does the application and approval process work? So there are 4 steps to the Canada Job Grant process. First, the employer identifies the training needs. That's the TFIT customer service. Next comes the application process. And that you work with ACBN and us, TFIT, and or our affiliates. After the application is approved, I think it's 1/6 or 20% is to be paid to the training company by the business, and then the training takes place. And then following that, and the proof that the training was completed is required for the government to pay the rest of the 80% that is owed reimbursements, which is phenomenal. Think about it. You know, when these corporations out there, they have, $250,000 a year for training budget. You know what I mean? Because they have staff coming in and out, and it costs a lot of money, especially when you have, hotels, or you have these big businesses that are constantly having people come in and out of season, or they need to ramp up for the holiday seasons. It costs a lot to train, up to $4,300 to train somebody. So got to think about how these corporations has all that funds. You know what I mean?
And I think Marlon had a question after.
Okay, no problem. All those funds. So imagine now we could compete with them, because it does, you know what I mean? Customer service training, it's huge to our bottom line. So keep that in mind, that the government now will pay up to 80% or over 80%, of your training costs, which is phenomenal. Marlon, do you want me to go through this first, or do you want to actually talk about that?
I just wanted to say, actually, for-profit small businesses, so those with under 100 employees, get 1/6. They only have to pay 1/6 of the amount. There is a possibility for not-for-profits to get the whole 100%.
Correct.
Right, being able to be done. And that's some of what we want to engage with, obviously, both ACBN, but some of the other parts. But at minimum, especially when you have low amounts of employees, you can look forward to a little under 17% that you have to put in to train those employees.
Thank you, Marlon. That's correct. And for those who actually just want to actually have us on ACBN and TFIT to continually help you with your training, you can do that. And if you have a training budget, and bring us on, and we could work with you and do monthly installments so we can continually always train your staff. So everything's open as far as having help to pay for training, or if you can afford it and you want to do that continually, we can also help you with that too. So who have we helped and who are we helping? So we've worked and trained over 1,000 owners, CEOs, and all their staff. And some examples are Circorp restaurants, Kira and the Recipe restaurants like Milestones and Swiss Chalet, Fairmont Resorts, Southampton, Bermuda, Waterlot Inn is an example. And that's a 4-diamond restaurant that we worked with for a while, a few years. Hockley Valley Resorts, and many, many more. But most recently, Detail and Nights. And you got to know who these guys are. Detail and Nights, we trained some of their staff. I think we'll continue, hopefully, to train their staff because they have a great social enterprise. And Ryan can speak more about his Detail and Nights if you don't know Ryan. So, certification, when you're done the 3 days, you get a certificate for your staff. What happened is because of our relationship with Restaurant Canada and with the Employment Canada, TFIT is recognizable on your LinkedIn or on your CV. So when you go to a job and you say you've been customer service trained, that will give you a leg up on the next person that's going in for that job, that they have to now train for customer service. So keep that in mind. This goes a long way with whether or not you bring somebody in to your business, or that person leaves and goes somewhere else to another business. They have that with them to follow with them. All right. So did you know that 90% of North Americans use customer service? 90% use customer service as a factor in deciding whether or not to do business with any company. Now, you got to keep that in mind. So if you're not having your staff trained, you are losing customers, and you're wondering why your business isn't doing as much as they can, right? So how to sign up? Sign up through ACBN. Go on to ACBN. You can see the link down here. Become a member of ACBN to support, what ACBN is doing. That's why we have partnered with them. So please go on and join up with ACBN so that we can continue to support your business progress and share ideas and resources as you certify all your staff for customer service. Join ACBN, register for TFIT, and then, there you go. I'm telling you right now, your bottom line is going to be awesome. I guarantee you that, because I've seen it happen. 36 years, 37 years now going on that I've been doing this in the corporate world. It works. We need training for our community and our staff. All right. Thank you. Any questions? Please put in. I know, Sophia, I'm not sure if you have any questions, or Marlon, any more to talk about, Marlon, to add to this, but let me know. And thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. And one question that I did have off the jump is, so when a company is going through the certification, because I know with Detail Ignites, it was like the 3-day, is there a way to extend it beyond the 3 days and have more hands-on, or do you just do the 3-day certification?
No, so what we're looking to do, and Marnie, you might want to talk to this too if you want to. What we're looking to do is, especially with ACBN, is to try to actually have follow-ups and try to actually be out there and work with, walk in and do secret shopping as far as just seeing how it's being done. You know what I mean? Or call us in and we'll actually work with your staff further. In person is important. You know what I mean? We could go online and we could talk and get you certified, but I always love, and we can do it, I love to walk into your place of business and watch your staff do what they do, listen to them on the phone without intruding on them, but also being there to give support. There's nothing like real-time solutions when you're in there.
Nothing to add now, but just like any other customer service, policy, we're looking at improving as well, right? And the way we see it, and one of the reasons why, we've engaged with the community and the ecosystem itself, is because a better ecosystem supports what we're doing, right? We're about wealth generation. we want to potentially invest in some of these companies, grow some of these companies. But the best way is to start kind of engaging with, are they coachable? Are they teachable? Are they improving these things? People think training is, kind of separate to things like branding. Like, you see a logo and you think that's branding. No, it's when you walk in and you experience something and you love it so much, you become an ambassador for that, right? Like that is one of the key things that you do. Everybody talks about Apple. It's almost a religion when you buy something from that, right? You tell other people about it. You start building your whole, company around that because of how well they treat you. You remember them giving you a whole new phone if you cracked the screen back in the day. So this is all parts of customer service. It's why we start with policies and procedures, because that is unique to your space. You think it's about training, but it goes through, it kind of looks through your whole strategic approach to your business and becomes a core piece of your brand, right? So that's why, we talk it and it sounds like training, like, it's 3 days. No, it's a new way of mindset thinking. And if that's implemented, you'll start, as you said, you'll start to see it in the bottom line, but you'll start seeing it in the attitudes of, your employees, the people who you're working through. And, I'm in the startup world. So that's really important to build a culture in your business, right? And that permeates to the customers, that permeates all the way through.
Awesome.
Right?
That's so true.
Right.
So Ryan, to your point, yes, and to what Marvin's saying, we're actually building our capacity because, I've been doing this for years, but I've been inside these places for years doing it. And now, so it's easier to walk in the next day and watch what we actually taught in motion. You know what I mean? So now doing it online, I want to make sure we can support. So having these policies now within and bringing people to the table to go out there and support more. That's what we're doing right now currently.
Sweet. All right, and a quick pulse check, checking if Sophia had any questions before I ask my next question.
No, I don't have any questions at this time. It was a pretty straightforward presentation, and I think that a lot of the questions were answered in the presentation, which is actually part of great customer service, because that means that a lot of the things. No, but it is, right? Because then that means that the things that you probably heard of before is now being covered in the presentation, so that it makes for less Q&A. The only thing I would say, and I guess maybe that happens after you go through the application process, I would say is, I'm not sure if because I'm working, I didn't actually hear the cost of the course. So I don't know if you give that after the application process or during the application process rather, but I didn't actually hear the cost of the course.
Correct. You're so right. So the course is $33,250 for the 3 days to get certified, and 80 to 100% of that is covered by the government. And I will make sure that's in what it says the cost there, but I explained how the costs, how the payments work, but I did not have the actual amount in there, and I apologize about that.
No, not at all. There's a little bit of psychology in that, because you said the cost, because I'm pretty sure I heard him well, but instead of people shutting down by hearing potentially what the cost is, you went into the solution as to how the cost can be covered, which is also another good part of customer service. So
you caught me.
So that's actually pretty good, because now, especially for small businesses, sometimes when things are not planned for or in our budget, when we hear a very big number, we'd be like, we really would like to do that, but. So then you kind of start to shut down because you don't think about the possibilities of how you can cover that cost. But because you addressed it in terms of what opportunities exist to cover 80% or more, then now when you hear the cost, you're like, okay, I think I know I could swing that. You know,
you're so correct. So thanks for saying that. I mean, I appreciate. I'm not sure what business you're in, but I do appreciate how you explain that, because we want to help. I want to help everybody in our community, especially because I'm used to being in a different community. I'm straight up with you, and that community has always had money for their staff, and you're wondering why they're doing, over year, they're not doing 3% increase. They're doing 8 and 12% increase in their sales. And you're wondering why, and a huge part of their spend tons of money on training and tons of money on following up, but they have that luxury. Most of the people in our community don't have that line on their budget to do training, so they just throw people to the any warm body to answer the door or get on the phone, and because they just have to, unfortunately. So I appreciate that. Yes, and I don't want to scare anybody, because I've been scared before so many times when people walk into my establishment before and say, I got this new thing that's going to save you all this. I want, what's the cost? Oh, it's only $12,500. I'm like, okay, I don't want to hear it. And then it stopped right there, because it's like, I can't afford that right now. But for the customer service training, this is so imperative and so important. And I know, and Ryan knows, and Marlon knows, that we could get it covered, majority of it, by the government. And if not, and then if you have to spend 1/6% of that to help train your whoever it is working your door, your telephone, that's going to allow you to make more money, because they're going to bring back those customers in to be repeat customers over and over again. It's worth that 6% that you have to pay from the $3,200. You know what I mean? If we could get it all covered for you, we're going to work on that. But at least know that around 80% will be covered.
Most definitely. I like that. Thanks again.
The owner going through the training, and then so can it only be the employees, or can the owner go through the training and get it covered?
Sorry, you were cracking up there. Say that again.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I was curious, going through the training, can the owner, like if it's a solo entrepreneur, can they go through it, or does it have to be employees of the business going through it?
So for the COJG, as far as I know, it's for employees. It's for those you are hiring for your business, or have hired for your business. The whole point for this is to get all owners trained too. You know what I mean? Even though the Canadian Job Grant, I think, doesn't allow for owners. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marlon, but I think it's for staff only. But we want to be able to train owners. So that's why we're going to be working on trying to get that covered too, if we can, through other means.
If we develop it as a coalition, for example, like ACBN or a coalition of service providers become a coalition to do it for a specific type, we might be able to kind of get a unique classification where since it's through the coalition, it then kind of covers almost as a not-for-profit. So you're training for another purpose, if you will, right? It's technically different. I'm new to this in that way, but I'm looking to see where there's a possible loophole where we can train owners through a coalition like ACBN.
And to further that, we will keep trying. I mean, this is just one way. We know what the end result is that we want, and that is to get every staff member trained, not just for customer service, but also for franchise readiness and for technology integration. Understanding training is important for the health of our business. You know what I mean? You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You got to keep training. That needs to be done all the time. So keep in mind, as we're going through this 80% to 100% covered by the government, it's not going to be the only thing. We want to bring on partners as much as we can as we go through this to help us do more, train more people, be involved more. So that's what we're going to be working on. our due diligence, get this done, get the solidness done as far as the COJG, but also work on other channels of getting it covered so we can get our staff trained. It has to be second nature in training now with our businesses. It can't just help someone start a wraparound business, and then have them open up their doors, but then they have zero support and training. That doesn't make sense to me personally. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure we can do whatever we can do. So we'll continue, and we promise you, we'll continue to go out there and look for support to pay for training. That's a huge line on our budget that we should have covered. If we can't do it ourselves, then we need to get it covered. Go ahead, Marlon.
Yeah. Okay. If folks are hearing training, it's also literally a big part of building your business. Customer acquisition is usually 5 times the cost of customer retention, right? Meaning it's much easier to say, like, you got somebody to try your product or service. It's much easier to have an ambassador going out telling somebody, this is it. You really got to try this. This is amazing. And that's what this type of training is designed to do. I don't almost like to call it training. I try to tell them all the time, look, you got to put in the line. This is operational marketing. This is a big part of it. This is like getting someone to wear your t-shirt and go out telling everybody about, hey, you don't understand. When I had this, it was amazing, right? And you got to do that. That's what happens with that's a good piece of branding, because we're talking about training, but it's about walking in and having an experience that now, I want to go and do that again. It could be as simple as, when you see the Golden Arches, right? And you're traveling along the highway, if I get off, I'm going to go in and everything I want is going to be there. That's what nobody tells you all of that, but it's like, hey, they're all open 24 hours. They're all going to have Big Macs. They're all going to have these things. And on the top of it, it's going to say smiles free. That's all every part of that experience, right, is part of the customer service experience. It's part of their policies. It's part of everything that we're talking about, right? So you don't realize it, but it's a part of branding. It's part of, hey, I know that. When I now see that logo or I see that thing, I have a set of expectations that was all part of that service, that first experience that you had. And if you had a bad one and the next person implemented it well, you have it again. It's like, oh, that's what I was supposed to get. So that's why it's such a key component. And it's like what we're trying to ingrain. So yes, it's 3 days, but yeah, we want to touch base. We want to see how it's implemented. We want to talk about policies and procedures, right? And yes, we're a business. We're going to figure out a way to get paid for it, right? But we also want to grow those things. I have another business that funds these things. So people who I see have the potential to grow because they're implementing that. I want to go back and say, hey, this is how we can now grow it. And I want to be your partner in doing so, right? So that's why I both got involved. And this is just from hearing it once and knowing the parameters and how to build it. I said, I got to get involved. And that was it.
Thanks, Marlon. Thanks. So,
awesome. Sophia,
question?
Yeah, I see your hands up.
Yes, thank you. So my next question is just a clarification. So the cost is per staff member, not per organization. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So per staff member is $3,250. We actually apply for it. You put how many staff you have. An invoice is created, and then we send that application to COJG, and they approve or not, or they ask questions. And Ryan, you went through this. Can you actually give us a little bit of what the service provider from the government, what they do ask you or not?
Yeah, it was pretty much standard business contact information and then information about the service provider. So that you would get from, I'll say TFIT, just to say like their name, information, website, and then they go through the grant approval process. They either say yay or nay, depending on the employees that you want to train. Because I do believe they have to be full-time out of school and under or above 18 or older than 18. So that was one thing you have to just check for qualifications on your side. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and then once they say, it usually takes around a couple of weeks, I think, Ryan, it took, but they say yes or no, and they said yes. Then from there, we go ahead and start the training.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. And so I didn't have any additional questions. Yeah, this might be a good space to stop unless there was any final words from you, Tim, just to close out.
Yeah, I'd like to say we want to continue this, people coming in and asking questions. I want it to be more about how we can help their business with the customer service. So keep that in mind as we go forward. We're probably going to do a podcast also. I have other people coming on board, T-Fit, that's from the government. That's going to be working with me from the government. So they love what's going on. They love where we're going, and I love that it's going through ACBN first. So I get to push ACBN, which is a near and dear to my heart now. And at the same time, though, starting to let people who know me from the restaurant community in Canada what I'm doing, and they're all excited about it. So just keep coming with the questions. We'll hopefully have more on a podcast to fill the 2 weeks up before we get to the next Wednesday, the double Wednesday, and then we can at least help everyone, if not help a few that really goes ahead and helps others too. We want everyone to pass on the information and help each other to be successful.
All right. Awesome. Again, thank you for presentation, full of information, and looking forward to having like the ongoing conversation. So as people join, being able to bring questions maybe about the last 2 weeks and what customer service successes and pitfalls might have happened throughout the day. So we look forward to that. But thanks again, Tim. Thank you, one. We shall connect quite soon. Yes.
Thank you, Marlon. Thank you, Sophia, Cher. Ryan, have a great night. I'll see you soon.
Thank
All
you.
right, you
Take
too.
care. Have a great night,
Bye.
everyone.